Hello! Today, from Bible Vision, we're going to be talking about coiling cables and why it's important to coil a cable. So you may ask yourself, well, I just take my phone charger and wind it up and toss it in the drawer and everything's fine and we're in a good place. And so why does it really matter? Well, when you're working in production, you're dealing with audio cables. And audio cables are an analog cable. So that means as you work the cable back and forth, there's individual copper conductors in here that can break. And that'll cause sound issues. You'll get all the fun stuff, the and all sorts of interesting things that you'll then go, we'll fix it in post, and then when you try to fix it in post, you'll realize you'll have to redub the whole thing over, and you won't be able to get your project done on time. So that's why coiling cables is important, and doing it the correct way. So you might think, well, I know how to coil cables. I learned how to wrap up extension cords when I was a kid. So you take your cord and you drop it on the floor, and then you take it and you go like this. And this is exactly what you don't want to do. Now the reason for that, as you're coiling the cable like that, you're forcing it to take that shape of your elbow. And you're putting these individual copper wires we talked about earlier under stress. And over time, that'll cause fatigue, damage your cable, and you'll get those aforementioned sound issues we were talking about earlier. Okay, cool. So now I know why I need to coil a cable and why it's important. So the question is, how do I want to coil a cable? So you take your audio cable, your nice audio cable, and we'll run it all the way out here. So you take your cable, and you can do this one of two ways. You can hold it like this, or you can hold it like this. Now personally, I like to hold the cables this way. And then you'll want to take the slack and you'll want to begin coiling it. And one thing that's really important as you're coiling it is you want to feel sort of the memory of the cable and the way that it wants to go. So as you're winding it, you can see if I try to wind it this way, it doesn't want to coil up properly. But if I take this and I turn my hand around, it's starting to naturally form a loop, which is exactly what you want. So you bring your cable, and you'll wind it up, and you want to try to get your loops pretty even, and you'll want to feel the cable as it goes. So you might not have seen there, but as I was going, the cable, it spun around. So again, we're following that sort of natural inflection of the wire, because copper has a memory. All right, so as you're coiling your cable, you're going to want to alternate your coils. Now what does that mean? So as you're bringing it up, there will be an overhand method where you're coming like this and you're going over the top. And then when I go to do that next roll, if I just try to go over again, you can see we get this figure 8 and it's not coiled properly. So instead, what I will do is I'll turn the cable around and I'll do sort of an underhand thing where I'm flipping it. And then for the next one, we'll go over. And then we'll do under again, where we're reversing the direction that we're coiling each time, again, to make sure that we're keeping stress off the wire, and it has this nice, round, mostly symmetrical loop. And you get it all nice and wound up. And once you're wound up, you'll get your loops pretty close. You do a little bit of cable management, make it nice. You'll take your Velcro tie, and you should always use Velcro, never use zip ties, because zip ties, again, put undue pressure on that cable you want to avoid. You take your Velcro, you wrap it up, you snug it down, and you're in a good place. On your taco cart it goes, in storage, hung up over the wall, wherever you need to put it. And again, you know you've done it right, because if you take that cable and you hold the end, and you just give it it should unroll relatively smoothly without any major kinks. And that's how you know you did it right and you're in a good place.